Hello everyone, today I'm going to speak about some topics in international business. Actually, I gave the information about other topics in international business, the role of culture and the legal and political environments. But today I want to speak about the overview of international business because some of my students, they wanted to understand some understandings in international business. That is why I have decided to give the general information about the international business. First of all, that we're going to speak. It is to discuss the meaning of international business, and the next one explain the importance of the understanding international business, and then identify and describe the basic forms of international business activities, and the next one discuss the causes of globalization and etc. Guys, first of all, let's learn about what is international business. Guys, international business is that it consists of business transaction between parties from more than one country. What does it mean, guys? Sometimes my students, they confuse that when we speak about international. The international, it doesn't mean that it is that all over the world. Actually, if that company, they just enter just one other foreign country, it is that already international company. For example, the home country is Azerbaijan, and you want to go to Turkey, and it is about that company, or maybe that FDI, FPI, that actually in our next slides I will give information about it. Just that, for example, that you create the other branch of your company in Turkey too. Now Turkey is, for you, it is host country. Azerbaijan is home country. Just to go one country, it means that you're already international company. Guys, what is the differences between the international business and the domestic business? Guys, there are some of the major differences about the boundaries, currencies, culture, legal system, availability of resources, skills, and knowledge. Now, guys, let's learn about all of them. First of all, what we said, guys, that we said that about the boundaries. You know, guys, now that you enter other countries, and you know, all countries, they have their own system. It is about the legal system, about the political situations, economic situations, cultural situation, and etc. There are a lot of factors. Now that we are in Azerbaijan and we know about our local market, and when we go into market in Azerbaijan, actually it is a little bit easier for us. But when we go to absolutely another country, it is absolutely new market for us, and that is why we need a little bit and more, not a little bit, actually more and more investigation about this market. And of course, guys, there are some boundaries. It can maybe that, for example, there is a tension, the political tension between the two countries, and that is why that there is some the boundaries for you to enter this country, and etc. And that is why these boundaries, it is more than your local market. And the next one, guys, it is about the currency. Of course, guys, if you work with other countries of course that you, for example, our currency is manat, you will not work with manat. Yes, there is you use some currency. For example, let's say dollar, and you know, guys, as that we use that foreign currency, that the currency can change. Yeah. For example, in Azerbaijan, you remember that 4 years ago there was that devaluation in Azerbaijan, and suddenly the currency, the rate that changed. And if you remember that, it caused a lot of problems in Azerbaijan, especially that which companies that they were based on the importing. Yeah. Okay. That this is that problem too. And the next one, guys, a legal system. As I said before, when I speak about the boundaries, that especially legal systems, that it is that one of the boundaries, that all countries, they have their own legal system. If you remember in our previous lesson, when I speak about the legal and political environment, I gave the information about the legal system in that depending on the countries. Yeah. Okay. That depending on the differences of the legal systems in the countries, that it can cause some problems or even some opportunities for us. And the next one, guys, culture. There are all countries, they have their own cultures. There are a lot of nations, yeah, okay, they have their own values. And especially today that we can see that multinational companies, they actually, when they enter the other countries, they take into account their cultural values. Why, guys? Because of it creates a lot of opportunities for them. For example, I want to give the example about the McDonald's. The McDonald's, it is a multinational company, and depending depending on the countries, they make some changes in their products. For example, in Azerbaijan, you know that pork, that products, it is that considered that haram in Azerbaijan because of the majority of people in Azerbaijan, their religion is Islam. That is why they do not use it. For example, but what about the Southeastern Asian countries? You can see that their products are more spicy in these countries because of these countries that people here, they like their more spicy products, and that is why that they take into account. And there are the other factors too, that you know that cultural issues, they are so critical, and that is why that it is that opportunity and advantage for that companies that if they take into account that all countries, their cultural values. And the next one, guys, the availability of resources. Yes, of course, we know, guys, that resources that they are spreading all over the world so that differently, and depending on the countries, it is about the for natural resources. For example, that we are the full of the natural resources like that oil, for example, some that other natural resources like the golden and etc. Yeah, guys, and other. It doesn't mean just it is about the natural resources. It's about the human resources. For example, some maybe that you need that some specific that human resources specialists in this field, and in this country there are such kind of this that specialized that human resources or not, and etc. Guys. And the next one, guys, why we study international business. Because of the guys, first of all, it provides the knowledge and skills that are essential for your career in today's business environment. Guys, today we know that, especially after the World War II, that we know that most of the that globalization actually it is growing the day by day, and there are now that in Azerbaijan we can say that there are a lot of international companies, you know, if you work in international company or yes, to know that about these factors, that creates that a lot of advantages for you, and it doesn't matter, guys. It is about the international company that we are the actually multinational country. Yeah? There are a lot of culture, there are a lot of the foreign citizens in Azerbaijan, and that is why that or that we make that business with other countries, and that is why that issues it is so essential for us. And you know, if you are so attentive about these issues, and if you are full of the information, and it means that actually you are ahead. And the next one, guys, helps you make better career assessment. And yes, that as I said before, compete successfully with peers and future competitors, yeah, and stay abreast of the latest business techniques and tools, and obtain cultural literacy. And now, guys, I'm gonna speak about it, and you will understand that what I mean. First of all, guys, that I want to speak about the international business activities. What kind of the activities are there? It is the exporting and importing. The next one, international investments, international licensing, international franchising, and the international management contract. Guys, now that let's explain all of them. First of all, guys, I want to speak about the exporting and importing. Guys, in international business, that most it is like that entry strategies that into that international markets, and it is the most known that entry strategies that to international markets, that exporting and importing. And what is exporting, guys? It's that one country sell their products to another country. It is that exporting. And what is importing? Importing actually it is the opposite of it. The one country they buy that of that other country's products or services. It is the importing, guys. And it can be that it is trade, and trade it can be that between the or maybe that it is about the products or maybe services. And trade in goods, it is that of course the tangible products, but trade in services, it is intangible products. And guys, it is so that simple way of to go international. And guys, now that we see that here, you can that read here that definition of it and some that additional information about it. For example, you see that some examples about the countries that, for example, United Kingdom and United States, the trade between them and etc. Now, guys, I'm going to speak about the other international activity. It is that FDI and FBI. Guys, they are the abbreviation. FDI, it means that foreign direct investment, and FPI, it means that foreign portfolio investment. Now, guys, I'm going to explain all of them, what they mean. First of all, guys, foreign direct investment, what does it mean? It is made for the purpose of actively controlling property, assets, or companies located in host countries. And the country in which the parent company is headquartered is called the home country, as I said before, and when country that you enter, it is for you, it is host country. For example, as I said before, the example that your company, it is headquartered in Azerbaijan, now Azerbaijan is for you home country, but if you go to Turkey and you create that branch or some FDI or FPI, that it doesn't matter. Actually, I speak about the FDI. Yes, it is now that I'm going to speak about some types of the FDIs, for example, merger, acquisition, and etc. It is that now the Turkey is host country. And guys, what is the foreign portfolio investment, guys? And I want to give the example about the foreign direct investment. It can be the merger, acquisition, and joint ventures, and etc. What about the foreign portfolio investment, guys? Foreign portfolio investment, it is that our purchase of the foreign financial assets. For example, it is stocks, bonds, and etc. Guys, and it is the purpose for other than the control, such as increasing the rate of return on portfolio of assets. Guys, FPI can be some that companies, bonds, stocks, or that some that savings that in other international banks, other banks, and etc. It is an example about the FPI. Guys, what is the main difference that between the FDI and FPI? That always remember about it. FDI, it is the active investment, but FPI, it is passive investment. And guys, now I'm going to speak about the other forms of the international business that I said that FTI, that international, first of all, I want to give information about the international licensing, international franchising, and international management contract. Then I will give information about the merger, acquisition, and joint venture. First of all, guys, what is international licensing? Guys, it is about the contractual arrangement, and it is that under this arrangement, the one company, they give some that rights for other companies to use their maybe that name, their brand, and their production, and etc. It is the licensing, guys. Depending on the licensing, the types of the licensing, that there are a lot of conditions about it. But it is about the, for example, that the example about it can be like the trademarks, like the patents, and brand names or copyrights, and etc. They are called international licensing. Guys, what about the international franchising? Guys, international franchising, actually, it is a specific kind of the international licensing. But what is it, guys, that the difference that actually, what is the specification of the franchising? That franchising, it is like that, as I said before, that it is a special type of the that licensing. But it occurs that when that one country authorizes the firm in a second country to utilize its operating system, brand names, trademarks, and logos in return for a royalty payment. Guys, they have the contracts, and you know that as licensing, they are not that. For example, depending on the conditions of the licensing, that maybe that that they are not engaged together with process, but in franchising, actually, they are always that engaged at each others. For example, they can give some trainings and etc. about their operating process and etc. Guys, who give the franchising, that they are called the franchisor. Who got the franchising? They call the franchisee. And the next one, guys, an international management contract. And I want to give the example, guys, about the international franchising. Most known the international franchising, it is a McDonald's, for example, KFC, and etc. That you know that it is that managed by the local companies, the local that legal entities, and they are the franchising, and that is why, guys, we can see that the differences between the quality and etc. And for example, the maybe that you have heard about it too. For example, that the taste of the KFC and that in Azerbaijan and in Turkey it is different. And in Azerbaijan, that they say that it is better than there. And McDonald's, yes, it is that approximately same. And in international, guys, management contract, what does it mean? Guys, it means that one country, when they enter to another, that one company when enter another country, it means that host country, yeah, they do not actually, that they create their everything, but they do not manage their company that by themselves. That they give this management to local that company. because of the, it is that actually why that some companies choose it, because of it reduced some risks that about the management, because of it is absolutely new market for them, it is absolutely new system for them, and that is why that maybe that it is hard for them that to manage that the business in this country, and that is why they can use it, and it reduce these risks because of the guys local that companies and other, maybe that it is local, maybe that other that international companies that more experienced, yeah, they are more experienced, they know about their management system and etc., and that is why that they do some companies they apply for this system, and it is called the international management contract. And guys, now that I'm going to speak about some types of the FTIs, the merger, acquisition, and joint ventures, especially guys, I actually see that my students that they confuse that what is merger and what is joint ventures. Now guys, I'm going to explain that the differences between them, now that you can understand better that what is the differences between them. First of all guys, that I want to speak about the merger. Merger is that when the two actually separate companies, they come together, it is called a merger. Yes, and they are actually that for example company A and company B, yes, they come together and they create that absolutely new that company. Now that actually they are not separate, that companies, the company A and company B, they are the merge, and they are for example that they can use the new name, or for example that both of the names and etc. It's about the merger. Now that guys actually they were that two other companies, now that they after the merger process, they became that one company. It is a merger. But what about the guys joint venture? Joint venture, the two companies come together, but for temporary time. For example, that maybe that there are some projects, and that is why that they worked together, and they, for example, produce some product. It is called joint venture. Guys, do not forget about it. Merger, it is about that two companies come together and they became that one company, but in joint venture still they are the separate two companies. But for some that projects they come together, they produce something, some services, some the products and etc. But after that time, that they again that will be maybe that separate companies. But it is not actually, they do not become that one company. For example, guys, the joint venture, for example, Sony Ericsson. If you remember, they produced a phone that's Sony Ericsson, maybe you remember, but you are young, maybe that you do not remember about it. And it is that, guys, that result of the joint ventures. The difference that, yes, remember about it. But what about the guys acquisition? Acquisition is that one business entity takes that over another that companies that whole entities. That it is about that they purchase it. Yeah, it is that acquisition. And guys, now that I'm going to speak about actually I use this term, that multinational company. Guys, I want to speak about that you see here some abbreviation, MNC, that multinational corporation, MNE, multinational enterprise, and MNO, it is multinational organization. Guys, what is the differences that among them? First of all, guys, that actually multinational, yes, it is that actually okay for you, and the differences here, it is about the corporation, enterprise, and organization. Guys, maybe that from management lessons you remember the differences between them. Again, I want to give the information about what is the differences between the corporation, that among the corporation, enterprise, and organization. Guys, you know that organization that they come for the same aim, that people come together. It is organization, yeah. And guys, now that I want to explain the relationship between the corporation, enterprise, and organization. Guys, corporation and enterprise are organization at the same time too. But not all organizations are enterprise and corporation. What is it, guys? It means that they are the specific types of the organization. The corporation means that it is legally entitled. If the company it is legally entitled, it is corporation. But what about the enterprise, guys? Enterprise, there are, guys, the two definitions for enterprise, especially in United States and UK that sources. You can see that they explain the enterprise that it is that it comes from the word that entrepreneurship. It is absolutely that new, that business sphere. It is enterprise. But in German, that sources, they actually explain the enterprise like the synonym of organization. They do not make any differentiation between them. But actually, that you can see that depending on the sources, you can see that these differences. But here, yes, enterprise, it is that absolutely that new business side. For example, that we can see that a lot of entrepreneurship, that projects, that if they became that company, they are called the enterprise. And guys, what is the globalization? Globalization can be defined as the inexorable integration of markets, nation states, and technologies in a way that is enabling individuals, corporates, and nation states to reach around the world farther, faster, deeper, and cheaper than ever before. Guys, today that we see that the globalization is growing day by day, especially that after the Second World War, that there are there are a lot of international organizations in the world, and after this process, actually, the boundaries that among that countries, they reduce. And now that especially the socialism, that this system actually avoided, and after that old situation, we can see that the globalization is growing day by day. And now that the boundaries that among the countries, it is that so that less than ever. And guys, manifestation of globalization, it is that about the intensification of the role of international trade and growing importance of FDI. Yeah, guys, especially that if you remember, as I said before, when I speak about the role of a culture, and guys, there are some that developed countries that they are local markets, that actually international business, that internationalization, it is an opportunity for companies because of the, for example, there are some that developed countries that they are the small countries, but they are actually the GDP is so great, their economy is so great. Guys, their local market for this development, it is not so enough for them. There are some that developed countries, even that their GDP, it is basically depending on the international trade. And now that is why we see that, guys, that international trade, that international business, it is so important today. For example, about Azerbaijan, yes, for example, oil, that we have such kind of that natural resources. It is like a gift of God for us, yeah. And it is, guys, that we export it, and and if that, imagine that there is not international trade, yeah. Okay, how we can that? Yes, of course, that we have the other it is not just about the oil sector. We have other the non-oil sectors too, the developed non-oil sectors too. But guys, it's still, guys, there is that we are depending on each other. There are some products that we do not that produce it, and that's why we have to import it. And there are some products that we are so good in these products, and that in the further slides, the topics, I will speak about it in international business and some the theories of international trade. And in these the topics, I will explain it better. The next one, guys. Environmental causes of the globalization, it is a changes in the political environment. Yes, guys, for example, you see that the reduction of trade and investment barriers, as I said before, and the collapse of European communism. It is about the USSR. They actually, that they were the close country, that republic. And after the collapse of this European communism, actually, that the barriers, you see that it is reducing the day by day. And we are one of the countries that in this topic, and the ideological and the policy changes undertaken by China and India too. And the next one, guys, changes in the technological environment, especially, guys, today we see that via technology, that now that we are so close to each other. For example, now that via technology, actually, now that because of the pandemic, that we can't organize the normal lessons, yeah, but because of the technology, that we can organize our lessons that again, that you can see that it is the simple things, but the technology, it gives a lot of opportunities for us. And international trade, yes, especially the development of the technology, that it really creates a lot of opportunities for international trade. Okay, guys, it is the end of our topic. See you later.